for no other reason that I thought that the Oilers could fight fire with fire last night, but I only saw fire from one side.
Well, didn't you think the Oilers were trying to stick up for themselves, to fight fire with fire? You know, like they didn't go quietly into the night. It was stuff happened.
Yeah, no, I got a little quietly into the night.
Yeah?
Yeah, I got it. I got quietly into the night.
You had Frederick chasing around Bennett.
That's okay. It's okay. That's one good component.
There's a brawl.
Okay.
I don't think they went. I mean, they lost 6-1 in the Stanley Cup final. So,
but who's just beating up on Ekholm along the boards? Greer. I hated that. That bothered me. It was a bad look.
Like Ekholm ends up in Wallman's arms.
Yes. And I'm telling you, I've been in that position before, and there's a few guys that I felt like could not end the game on the bench. They had to have been escorted off the ice. That's the kind of finish without jeopardizing suspensions or fines are fine. We saw Wallman fine $10,000, no problem, pay that all day long. But I hated watching Greer go after Ekholm, and then really nothing at the end. And Evander Kane, to me, was the first guy I thought could not finish the game. Like Evander Kane needed to go after somebody and lay a beating. Okay, you know what? Getting a 2-minute high sticking penalty and then a 10-minute misconduct was the easy way out for him last night.
Yeah. Listen, I get the point. You know, I think a lot of what people in Edmonton are talking about is like they lost their composure. You know, a lot of this seemed to be Florida having fun with it. I understand the fights are not entirely fun here, so maybe this is not the clip for my point.
Well,
that
give
they're having
Nurse
a good
credit
time.
too, because that's a tough guy he fought.
Absolutely.
Nurse is in the top
Nurse,
class, though. He can
all the
fight,
respect in the world.
but he can fight anybody. He's in the top class to me.
But there's a few guys that needed to kind of answer like a nurse.
But I do feel that more than, and that's fair point by you. For my point, it's like they didn't handle it well emotionally. It felt like they weren't in control of things. They were just kind of taking it as it happened. Florida, even though Florida was involved in all that stuff, they seemed very composed and, they're very comfortable in that style of game, and they just got Edmonton off their game. So what worries me for the Oilers now is the message is we need to be more composed. We can't take that many penalties. We need to play within ourselves, take a cross-check, take a whatever. And now Florida's going to have less sticks on them, more access to the net. Like, Edmonton's going to try to not take as many penalties. What, they take 11 last night?
11.
They're going to not take... And if you're
The
Florida,
most
perfect.
since the
Create room
mid-'80s.
for ourselves out there.
Most combined penalty minutes in a Stanley Cup final game. The most was the Flames and Canadiens in 86. Panthers Golden Knights 23 with 148. Canucks Bruins with 145 in 2011. And last night was the fourth most in the history of the Stanley Cup final with 140 combined penalty minutes. So bit of a hootenanny out there.
And it was the most PIMs in any playoff game this year, and third most all season long. That game was out of order.
Yeah. We talk about what makes the Florida Panthers great. And, toughness is one thing, but, like we've said, they have tough guys in their fourth line, but, they're not all particularly, bruisers. But, they just have guys that make you want to do dumb crap all the time. You look at Tkachuk in the eye, and he's got that stupid mouth guard outside of his face, and he's always in your goalie's face, and he's just, doing stuff to piss you off.
Yeah.
They're elite at making you mad and making you do dumb stuff, and then you see them go in the power play, and they go globetrotters on you.
Yeah.
It's just, they're so good at every facet.
And so frustrating, because then you get Marchand.
And look at this flop by Bobrovsky. Oh, my God. That's embarrassing.
That's embarrassing.
He should be fine. He should be fine for that.
Neymar would be proud of that one. Yeah. That's embarrassing. But anyways,
so the Oilers end up shorthanded a lot. So, next game, really tough to me to go into a game against the Panthers thinking, be careful.
Yeah.
That's
the last emotion
start.
that's the last emotion you should have.
Another 2 games between games Thursday night.
It
resumes. Who do you like that better for?
Florida.
Yeah, it depends, though. McDavid and Draisaitl.
2 days at home.
The path to winning for Edmonton is McDavid and Draisaitl are, undeniable, and Skinner's better, right? So do those guys need the most rest? Do you need them at their very best to get what you need?
I'm not sure it's enough. I think they need 2 or 3 guys to once again step up. I don't know if it's another Perry, Miracle, Arvidsson, Brown, Nugent Hopkins hurting. He didn't have an impact last night, right? But it was a game time decision. We don't even know if he's playing at 50% or 60%.
Didn't practice today.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
And the fact that the Oilers did practice today is kind of crazy in itself.
Can you really see the Edmonton Oilers winning 3 of 4 games now?
Yeah. The only reason I can
with Draisaitl, McDavid, Skinner at the top of their game, because I don't think it's enough. I think there needs
Hyman is so bad.
They need depth guys to step out again and
when you
get a
don't
job
have a
done.
ton of depth guys, losing a physical, fast, scory depth guy in Hyman really hurts. Last year the Oilers beat the Panthers 3 times in the Stanley Cup final in a row. And, it's not impossible. The one thing I'll note,
Just have to win Thursday.
yeah.
Have to win Thursday, and then you're going home with a chance to go back up. Thursday night is, it's a big game,
Yeah.
but for the history of the league in terms of Connor McDavid and the trajectory of his career, Thursday night is as big as it gets hockey game in the NHL.
If you believe that the Panthers are a more defense first type of team and more by whatever, power plays at the start of a period when there's fresh ice, they do worse. I know people don't know that, but because the penalty kill is rested and they have a chance to set and make a plan. They're energized and they're ready to kill. So you get hard workers can outdo your skill guys. My point is that helps Florida if you're the hardworking defense team.
So
who's
the
rested.
Harlem Globetrotter goal, right?
my
the
God.
Ekblad goal. He started the power play with, I think, Marchand's line. And then on the back half, after the penalty killers are exhausted, then he throws out Barkov and Reinhart.
Yeah.
And it was you knew that goal was coming.
Yeah. Well, they have flipped who their PP1 is, right? Florida was starting power plays with the Marchand unit because they've been so good.
So good.
Which, by the way, is such a funny Leafs thing because we watch them all year long about can you break it up into 2 units?
No, not allowed.
It's illegal. You go to jail if you do it.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Florida has proven that it's okay to have 2 power play units.
I have 2 things. Wes McCauley, of course, wanted to make sure it was about him last night in the first period. He wants to make as many.
I honestly didn't even know it was old.
Enough penalties. These little ticky-tack. It's oh my God, it's the final. Let's see some 5-on-5 action. So first of all, that drove me crazy. Second of all, the Leafs paid more for Scott Laughton than the Panthers did for Brad Marchand. And that will keep me up at night for the rest of my life.
He wanted to go to Florida, right?
Yeah.